There's always been something magnetic about Tammy Slaton. Whether it was her unfiltered attitude, her turbulent health journey, or her chaotic dynamic with her sister Amy, Tammy has been the emotional center of 1000 LB Sisters since the show first aired. But something's changed this season, and not just Tammy's appearance or attitude. There's a veil of secrecy shrouding her storyline that has fans, myself included, convinced that she's being slowly written off the show. And I think it's intentional. At first glance, this season seemed like it would be a victory lap for Tammy. After years of struggle, near-death hospital stays, and viewers watching with both sympathy and judgment, she finally hit a turning point. Weight loss surgery. Done. Major health milestones. Achieved. Her glow-up? Real. But as episodes rolled on, I began to notice that Tammy wasn't being celebrated. She was being sidelined. Her screen time was cut. Her story was fragmented. Her confessional interviews felt edited down, and her storyline felt cautious. Too cautious for someone who once dominated every scene with her brutal honesty and explosive temper. So what gives? Why would the showrunners minimize the arc of the very person who helped make 1000 LB Sisters a hit? Let's start with what we do know. The mysterious transformation. Tammy's physical transformation has been nothing short of dramatic. After her tracheotomy, rehab, and surgery, she's reportedly lost hundreds of pounds. An almost unheard of turnaround considering where she started. And while fans initially rejoiced, what was once a shared journey has now become oddly private. On Instagram and TikTok, Tammy has posted sporadically, mostly positive selfies, vague inspirational quotes, and the occasional video. But unlike her earlier content, where she'd rant, cry, or respond directly to fans and trolls, she's now strangely silent about her progress. And on the show, we only get glimpses of her new life, and only through carefully curated snippets. It's like we're seeing the sanitized version of Tammy, stripped of the rawness that made her relatable. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a theory among viewers that Tammy might be distancing herself from the show's narrative, that she's reclaiming her privacy after years of exposure. And if that's true, it spells trouble for her future on the show. Production pullback. We've seen this pattern before. Reality stars who become too real or too hard to manage get nudged off screen. Think about other TLC personalities who started as the main event but eventually faded into the background. Sometimes it's because they clash with producers. Other times, their stories become too complicated, controversial, or simply don't fit the brand anymore. Tammy, let's be honest, has always been a producer's dream and nightmare wrapped into one. Her volatility brought drama, but it also brought unpredictability. Remember the time she refused to go to rehab despite her family's pleading, or the countless outbursts that left Amy or Chris or Misty in tears. That kind of chaos sells, but it also wears thin over time. Now that Tammy is doing well, perhaps TLC is facing a dilemma. A healthy, independent Tammy doesn't offer the same emotional highs and lows that a struggling one did. Her story might not fit the formula anymore, and rather than reinvent the show, they might be opting to phase her out gently. The missing details. Another thing that stands out this season is how little we know about Tammy's personal life. In previous seasons, we saw her relationships, however messy, unfold on screen. From her tumultuous romance with Jerry to the controversial marriage with Caleb Willingham, may he rest in peace, Tammy's love life was a central plot point. But this season, crickets. Even after Caleb's tragic passing, the show barely explored her grief. Instead of diving into her emotional journey, we got a few vague mentions and a glossed-over funeral segment. This isn't just a missed opportunity. It feels intentional, like the producers are steering away from Tammy's personal developments. Some fans have speculated that Tammy may have requested more control over what gets aired. Others believe she might be under a different contract now, one that limits how much access the cameras get. Either way, it's creating a sense of detachment between Tammy and the audience. Tammy 2.0, not TLC friendly. It's possible that Tammy's newfound confidence and autonomy don't align with what TLC wants. The show has always thrived on imbalance, one sister progressing while the other spirals. It's a formula that keeps viewers invested. But now, both Amy and Tammy are on similar paths, navigating single motherhood in Amy's case and independent adulthood in Tammy's. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That kind of growth is beautiful, but it's also less dramatic, and we all know reality TV needs drama. Tammy's transformation might have made her too boring for the show's chaotic tone. She's no longer lashing out, breaking down, or clashing with her siblings. In short, she might be too healthy, physically and emotionally, to be the central figure she once was. Signs of a soft exit. If you pay close attention to the structure of this season, you'll notice something subtle but telling. More screen time for the extended Slaton family. Amy's kids, Amanda's antics, Misty's side stories. They're all being given more room to breathe. That's not by accident. Shows like this often test new dynamics before making a big cast change. By giving more focus to Amy and the others, producers may be preparing fans for a Tammy-like future. And let's face it, without Tammy's unpredictable energy, the show will feel different. But maybe that's the point. There's also been talk of spin-offs, whispers on fan forums about Amy getting her own show centered around single motherhood, or the sisters branching out into separate series. If that's the direction TLC is heading in, Tammy might be taking her final bow sooner than we think. The power shift. What I find most compelling is the shift in power. Tammy, once at the mercy of producers, doctors, and her own demons, now seems to be calling the shots. Whether it's by design or necessity, she's no longer just a participant in the show. She's someone who can control her narrative. And that might scare the network more than anything else. Reality TV thrives on vulnerability. When a star gains control, the stakes shift. The messiness that kept people watching disappears. And while that might be a win for Tammy's real life, it's a red flag for her reality TV longevity. Final thoughts. I'm convinced that Tammy's storyline this season isn't just secretive, it's strategic. Whether she's pulling back by choice or being phased out by the network, the writing's on the wall. The show we're watching now feels like a transition, a passing of the torch. And as much as I've rooted for Tammy, and at times, been frustrated by her, I can't shake the feeling that we're watching her swan song. Maybe she's outgrown the show. Maybe she's building something better off camera. Or maybe, just maybe, she's decided that real life, without the lights, the edits, and the endless judgment, is the life she wants now. If that's the case, I salute her. But make no mistake, this season will be the one that changes 1,000 old sisters forever. And it all starts with the silent, secretive, and powerful exit of Tammy Slaton. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.